Hello, good morning. Hi. I'm happy to see that many of you came up this morning after the Dreamfest, so it's not an easy task to do. So we really appreciate. We are going to do a a session about data integration heroes, how to do data integrations with MuleSoft. So we hope you enjoy it. My name is Laura Diaz. I work for Blue Infinity linked by Isobar, which is part of the Tensu Ages group. I'm a lead consultant, and I've been working in the Salesforce ecosystem for about 8 years now. I'm also a Salesforce MVP. I'm very involved in the community. I'm leader of the Geneva developer user group. As well, I am also a co-organizer of 2 community-led events, French Touch Dreaming and Dreamole.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Julio Fernandez, and I am an applications developer at Designit. Designit is a small consultancy based in the UK, in Bristol, and we're Salesforce partners. And I take advantage of working in the cloud because I'm working remotely, so I'm based in Spain, in Seville. And I've been working with the platform for about 6 years now. I'm the leader of the Seville developer group, and I also co-organize Dreamole with Laura and some other people. And these are my contact details just in case you want to get in touch later. I'm sure by now you must have seen this 1 or 2 times, and what it means is that you shouldn't be making any purchasing decisions based on what you see here today. So, this is our agenda. We're going to start to justify why we need integrations. We're going to have a quick overview of what the Salesforce integrations options are, and we're going to also have a quick definition of what MuleSoft is and what you can do with it, and we'll end up with a couple of lovely demos. Okay, so why do we need integrations? How many of you have implemented an integration with any platform? Okay, a few of you have, but I'm sure that very close to 100% of us have taken advantage of integrations. Since we have a mobile phone, we have all used integrations. We live in a world where we have lots of devices, lots of systems, lots of microservices, a wide name of data storage systems that not necessarily are connected. And if you think about a taxi ride experience 20 years ago and nowadays, that is a very good example of how you can leverage the integrations. Before you would have to call a taxi, just get a ride, get a receipt, and nowadays everything is just on your fingertip with your phone.
Good. So now we are going to speak and let you know also the integrations that we can do leveraging the functionalities of the Salesforce platform. Next. Good. So we all really like one of the things we love about Salesforce is the point-and-click solutions, and we also find those solutions on integrations. So first column, we have the no-code integration. So those, we can just do it by point-and-click. We have the Salesforce Connect, Heroku Connect, External Sales Services Wizard, and the external objects. Then if we would need to increase the functionality or do a bit more complex integrations, we can actually write some code. And we have the code integrations where we have several APIs, the REST and SOAP API, the Bulk API, Streaming API, Apex REST endpoints, and Apex HTTP callouts. And finally, what we have is a mix of both. So you could do a bit of point and click, but you also need to do a bit of code. And this is the mixed integrations where we have the platform events and IoT Explorer. Today, unfortunately, we are not going to have much time to go into the details of every one of them. I'm sure you will probably find some sessions, or you could go to Trailhead or to any of the Salesforce documentation to find information about them. And now let's go. So MuleSoft. MuleSoft is the latest integration to the Salesforce family. And it's based on what we call the AP-led connectivity. This API-led connectivity allows us to do integrations and do connect to systems on applications and make them available from one system to the other. And it's using reusable and APIs. Okay, the reusable part is really, really important. That allows us to make integrations from any kind of systems. So either if they are cloud-based or if they are on-premise, you can integrate them. It allows us to be very quick. So the speed is really important. It allows us to be also be productivity, so the productivity is good, and it allows us to be really designing what the business needs and make it on time, right?
Okay, and how do we achieve that API-led connectivity? So MuleSoft provides a number of out-of-the-box connectors, and these are just components that you can drag and drop into your workspace, and all you have to do is just configure certain parameters depending on what the component is. And not only you have modern APIs like Salesforce or Amazon Web Service, Dynamics, these type of high-tech APIs, but you also have the ability to connect to legacy systems and use more older types of systems. So you can send emails, you can just use FTP servers, you can connect to other databases, and it is really flexible. And all of this is just provided to you out of the box. Then if we bundle up these components, is how we create the Mule applications. So we can see an example of a Mule application in this screenshot. So we've just used a few of the connectors, we've put them all together, and we've just read from some input, and we're transforming some data, and then we are loading the data into the endpoint. As Laura said, we're going to be taking an on-premise integration and a cloud-based integration. The cloud-based is using the Anypoint Design Center, and the on-premise uses the Anypoint Studio. And MuleSoft also provides the Anypoint Exchange, which is a repository. Both. It's a private repository so that you can share your components and your Mule applications with the members of your team. And it's also a public repository of apps. So they are pre-existing scenarios that Mule has worked with, and it makes it easy for you to reuse work that has already been done. If it meets your criteria, you can just download that application from the App Exchange.
Good. And now let's speak about one of the most common or the key things that you need to do in any kind of integrations, that the data transformation. So in a typical scenario, you could go to the source system, you could extract the data, you could do some transformation so that the data you have extracted from one system is intelligible to the next one. And then what you do your transformations, and then you load it into the destination system, right? This is what we commonly know about as ETL, that is extract, transform, and load. One of the most common operations we can do on transformation on ETLs is merge data, aggregate the data, do some enrichment or some transformations on some logic on that data. You can do summarizations, or you could filter, okay? It's really complex, or you could go as far as you would like to. We are going to have some details about this kind of data transformation in the demo we are going to do shortly, but you also could do data mapping. So let's imagine that you could have one field in one system that is called last name, right? But in the other system is called surname. So you can say to the system and integration, say this name here refers to that last name in here, okay?
Okay, so let's start with the tricky bit, a live demo. This is the Anypoint Studio. So this is the on-premise integration that we're going to check. The MuleSoft interface for this is based in Eclipse. So for those of you who have used Eclipse before, it must be a very familiar interface. So you have your package explorer here, and then you have your workspace here in the middle, and you also have the palette where you can just search for the different connectors. So you can search for emails, or you can search for Oracle, some database. So you have a number of components that you can use. But let's focus on the use case. So this is a very simple example of what you can do with ETL. It's an extraction from a CSV file we're going to transform the data, and we're going to load it into Salesforce. It may look like a very simple example, but it's a very useful one. I've done a lot of integrations with this, and maybe mostly for companies who have legacy systems. So let's assume we have a legacy system that is able to produce CSV file, and we want to sync this information back into Salesforce. So we have the account name and other information like the revenue in the account. So how do we do this? So what we've done here is we've used the scheduler. Let me run the application. This is running in my local, and it's going to implement this solution. The scheduler, that's the connector, and at the bottom you can see the parameters that you can configure. So this is going to poll the CSV every 30 seconds. Then we have the read connector, and the read connector, all you have to do is just tell it where the file is and what the format of the data is. So you can just select the metadata, and MuleSoft provides tools just to extract the schema of your files automatically. And as you can see, these are the header names of our CSV file. Next, we've done some logging so that if there's anything that doesn't work, we can just find out where it is, or just for informational purposes. The next step is we're adding a new variable which is the exchange rate. For simplicity, we've just made it a constant value, but this could be another component just reading from a real-time exchange rate provider. And these three components represent the extract part of our ETL process. Now, this is the key part. So the transform message connector is where the power of MuleSoft is. As Laura said, we have some mappings here. So on the left-hand side, we have the input from our CSV file, and on the right-hand side, we have the schema of an account object. So we have all of the custom and standard fields in the account object. And we are mapping, so the input name is being mapped to the output name, and we're just producing the output. But not only we are mapping, we are also applying some transformations. So for example, the account name is going to always be transformed into uppercase, and also the annual revenue is going to get recalculated by the exchange rate so that it is in the currency that Salesforce is expecting. Finally, we have the Salesforce connector, and this is an upsert type of connector, so that because we want to keep our accounts in sync. If something is updated, we want that update to be reflected in Salesforce, and if something is new, we also want it to be inserted. So we just configure the parameters. We just use the login access for Salesforce, and we tell it to integrate with the account, and we're going to be using this external ID that we have created in the account object as a custom field. So let's see our accounts. So we have 4 accounts here. Let me just refresh this. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just create a new one. So I'm going to give it a new ID, and this is going to be called DF18, and demo4 is going to be changed. So when I say this, we see the console. So the console has been reading our CSV every 30 seconds. So in just a few seconds, we should be seeing the changes, and here they are. So we have changed the name for an existing record, and we have also created a new record. So summing up, we've got the 3 initial components that are the extract part of the process. We have the transform bit of it, which is where the real power of MuleSoft resides. And we have the output, which is the load part of it, which is in sending the content to the destination, which is Salesforce. And with that, over to Laura.
Thank you. That was a very cool demo. So I do have another demo, so please stay here with us. For this demo, what we have actually done is instead of using the on-premise Anypoint Platform Studio, we have had the design center that is the online capabilities of MuleSoft. So in this demo, the use case we are doing is, let's imagine we are a sales team in which we are collaborating and we are going to clients, doing opportunities and closing them. So we want our sales team to be in what is going on with those opportunities. So we have a Slack channel in which we are going to post the opportunities every time one opportunity has been updated. So that one, you will notice that we are doing very, very easy. So it's not as complex as the one from Julio, but it's also powerful. So what we have done is use a Salesforce connector that it's just connecting to Salesforce every 15 seconds to see if has been any update into the opportunity object. Okay, we can put any time frame we would like. What we also have is like the Salesforce credentials, as Julio showed before. So we just connect with the username, the password, and the security token, and we also give the token of the Slack channel that we are using. Second part, we are just taking out the transform part, but we are just using the Slack connector in which we actually tell into which channel we want to post our message, and we also write the message we want to post. Okay, in here, what we are doing is like writing some text, then taking the opportunity name that is called in MuleSoft payload, and then we also put some other text, and then finally what we pull is the stage name in which the opportunity has changed. Okay, so if the demo effect doesn't is not with me, sorry. So I'm going to go to one opportunity, and I'm going to update the stage. So I'm actually going to close it, and of course I win it, because that's what we do, right? So in a second, you see that one message was just posted to that Slack channel. So again, it was very quick, but you see how quick and easy it is to do any kind of integration. Good. Where is my slide? Good. Okay, so now we are almost running out of time. So how can you keep learning? We are very involved in the Salesforce community. So community, I think, could be my first advice for you to go and learn. Go and find a MuleSoft meetup in your city. You might have one. If you don't find it, go and create your own, maybe. You also have a very nice developer blog that we have actually used for our demo and to learn for this session. And there is the data integration specialist super batch that you can go and learn. But there is also going to be a new batch coming very soon that it's going to be specific for MuleSoft. And finally, what we have done actually is to create a test account in the Anypoint platform. Trial, yes, thank you, English. And then also we have done some quick starts that are really powerful and where you can actually learn. Mm-hmm. So with further ado,
yep.
Thank you so much for this morning. We really appreciate you get up very early.
Yes.
So it was really nice. Thank you.
Thank you.